Is this my green sauce?
It's your green sauce.
Wow.
It's the green seasoning.
Really is green.
It is green.
This is a good like YouTube cover. So CJ, if you want to just screen grab this. I'll give like a couple faces. You know, people on YouTube are always like aggrieved.
Yeah.
They're always like, what? This look of astounding shock.
Have you ever seen our YouTube ones?
Yeah.
We're always just like.
It's always Christina and CJ. They're always like, and it's always like, did the green sauce kill Michael? And it's my face like. Welcome to Brief Recess. I'm Michael Foote.
I'm Mélissa Malebranche.
Today we're going to talk about horse podiatry. We're going to talk about my signature scent, which is unrelated from horse podiatry. We're going to talk about how Mélissa finally shared her secret seasoning cabinet. We're going to talk about Mitch McConnell's eternity leave. And we sit down with the internet's other favorite lawyer, Mr. Keep You Outta Jail, Kaetan Mazza.
Oh, Michael, are you all right?
No. Just knocked over the entire plant.
Were you hanging out with Ben?
Ben's absolutely wild on the internet.
I love him so much.
This is our former guest from 2 weeks ago, Ben Hopkins, that we're talking about because he was Hopkins Prager. Mm-hmm. Hysterical. Mm-hmm. Absolute menace on the internet. Everything I see that I love, he's already liked.
Yes.
Like, you know how you can see what people like?
Yeah, I know.
That's how you know he's chronically online.
I know.
Wait, let's get into a sidebar. How's your week been?
Fine. Do you feel like you need to... I mean, I guess it's hard for you to say because so much of what you do is TikTok. But do you feel like you're on the internet too much?
Me personally?
Yeah. Like
you think I am and that's why you're asking?
No, I think I am.
Oh, no, I think I'm on it not enough.
Okay.
I have the opposite problem where I'm like...
Is it because you think that you should be posting more content?
No, I want to consume more content.
Oh my God, Michael.
It only makes me happier. It really does.
I am so overwhelmed. Like I guess overwhelmed. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much content. It's too much stuff.
But what kind of content is it?
I mean, because of my problem. It's all kinds of stuff, right? So it'll be like little kids. Then it'll be like cats. Okay. Then it'll be like dogs. The other day I got stuck. There was like a whole
thrifting.
Sometimes. But like, I follow a farrier. Do you know what that is? The people
Isn't
who
that
take
the
care.
Horse feet?
Right.
Horse feet?
The horse feet.
We're going right into algorithm because it sounds like Melissa's algorithm is showing. And this is farrier podiatry for horses. Mm-hmm. The smell alone. Well,
it's not smell-o-vision. I'm watching it.
I have been really into scents though lately. Like can you smell my new cologne? I'm obsessed with getting like a new.
That smells nice.
Yeah, so
Who's
this
that?
is Gabar.
Okay.
It's like a Malaysian perfume cologne, unisex. Mm-hmm.
Where'd you get that from?
This is the number 3. It's the in their series of 5. I'm a TikTok influencer was talking about scents, and I was like, I don't think, because everything we do is content. I'm always making videos. I'm doing podcasts. I'm thinking less and less about in-person experiences rather than digital experiences. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up on Scent Talk, Perfume Talk, and started getting influenced by perfumes and colognes.
There are too many talks.
And then they're like, this is the craziest one. This is the scent profile. And I'm like, well, the only way for me to know is if I get that shit.
Right.
I got that shit.
Wait, did you order it and it came to your home?
I got the sampler. Yeah, I ordered the sampler.
Yeah, I've ordered samplers before because I'm always wondering, like, if you order a scent that you've never had before and it comes to your house and it smells like, I don't know.
And it's a big one. Yeah. And you got the $100 big one and you hate it.
Right.
Yeah. No, this was great because I also found this lady on Etsy, not an Etsy witch. We could talk about that later. Okay. Everyone's using Etsy witches now.
I believe in an Etsy witch.
I feel left out.
Why?
I feel like we should also get Etsy witches.
Okay.
But this woman on TikTok,
I like witches,
she'll do like a little sampler of a cologne or perfume for you and just charge you $10. If the company doesn't have a sampler, you can order one for $10
You know what I
from
like?
her.
There are a lot of these places, like especially in the Bronx, and I want to say they're usually owned by like people from Iran, and it's all like these scent oils.
Oh, cool. Love that.
Love so much. I love
I
that.
would go to that and do like a field trip.
Let's do that. We're going on a field trip.
Oh, yeah.
Well, by the time this is aired,
The field trip will have happened. We're going to the Emily Dickinson Museum.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, you know what? Keep talking. I'll be right back. No.
Okay.
Keep talking.
We're going to ThriftCon, but we'll be there. We will already have been there. It'll be past tense by the time you hear this. But I want to talk about with Mélissa, actually, when it comes to scents, I want to talk about when we used to rub magazines on ourselves when they put like the scent in the magazine. Was where it was at. You remember that?
Scratch and
You remember
sniff.
just getting a paper cut from rubbing the magazine on your neck? Because those were the days. That's how you know you were a 90s kid.
Okay, I'm back.
Is this my green sauce?
It's your green sauce.
Wow.
It's the green
it
seasoning.
Really is green.
It is green.
This is a good like YouTube cover. So CJ, if you want to just screen grab this. I'll give like a couple faces. You know, people on YouTube are always like aggrieved.
Yeah.
They're always like, what? This look of astounding shock.
Have you ever
What?
seen our YouTube ones?
Yeah.
We're always just like,
It's always Christina and CJ. They're always like, and it's always like, did the green sauce kill Michael? And it's my face like, we don't know. We're going to find out. If I open this, is it going to,
no, just,
it might go crazy style.
no, you could smell it.
Okay.
So I'll give.
So those of you just listening, since this is
that's right.
a podcast in some spaces.
So we had talked a while ago about seasoning, and I told Michael about this green seasoning that I make, and he was like, "Okay, well, just be careful."
This is going to blow my tits clear off. I can already tell.
No. So Michael had said, "Well, you've never made it for me," and then other people started chiming in the comments and saying, Mélissa, when are you going to tell us about your green seasoning? So that's it. I'm going to give CJ the recipe if we could post it for you guys. Yeah. I also recorded myself doing it. So I'll post that when the episode airs. But I'm going to tell you something right now.
It's spicy. It smells spicy.
It's actually not spicy because I did not put Scotch bonnets in it because of Brad.
Oh my God, Scotch bonnets could,
Yeah, I didn't because I thought
killed a man on 6th Avenue once. Yeah, you never know.
Here's what I'm going to say about my green seasoning.
This green seasoning is a sack of batteries and a sock and it'll beat you to death. That's what it is.
Haitian people, don't come for me. This is how I make my green seasoning.
Is there like...
You make yours the way you like it. I make mine the way I like it. I don't care si c'est maman, papao, gamel, marenu.
Oh shit.
That's theirs.
Oh
this
shit.
Is mine. This is Tati Missa's green seasoning, not your gamel's green seasoning. Okay? I'm just saying because people will poo-poo and people will come in and be like, that's not how you do it. That's how I do it. Oh. It's like the people who don't want you to wash the chicken. You don't wash your chicken. I wash my chicken.
We're getting very Queens in the studio. You ate with that. That was, you ate.
Sorry.
You ate them up with green sauce, honey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all. That's so.
Because they will come for you.
People will come for you.
And what are they going to say? There's no Scotch bonnet in it?
Well, first of all, they're going to say, why isn't there Scotch bonnet in it? Because most people do. Most Haitian people do.
Because... And we will literally show them my husband, who's a ginger from Maine, by way of like French Canadian heritage. Like his body is not built to handle a Scotch bonnet.
No.
Dead, closed casket. Okay.
His head might explode.
No viewings of the body. Yeah.
And the other thing I will also say that usually Haitian folks don't put cilantro in theirs. But I like cilantro, so I put some in mine.
She's not a super taster.
You don't like cilantro? Don't put it in yours.
This actually might have been, they're not sure. They're still doing the autopsy. They're trying to determine the cause of death for Lindsey Graham. So this could have been what killed him.
Maybe.
And did you see the little tap Trump did on his, he did a little,
no,
it's like a little knock on his coffin at the funeral. I'm not kidding.
God.
It was the knock heard around the world. It was truly knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me. It was So crazy.
There's a really old song. I know we can't sing, but it's like, knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me.
That's exactly what I just quoted.
Is it?
Yes, that's what I just said.
Oh, is it?
Mélissa.
My bad. Was he knocking to see if he was in there?
What? He's like, is it him or Mitch McConnell? We don't know who it is. Was it a 2 for special out there?
Did you look at the video that I sent you that's circulating the internet of Mitch McConnell as Michael Jackson in the Thriller video? I sent it to you guys. See, CJ looked at it.
Oh, yes. You did send it to me. You don't understand the volume of memes I consume in a day. But yes, I have seen the Thriller.
I sent it to you.
Yes, you did. And you texted it directly to me and our producer, which is like really bad. I didn't watch it. Yeah. No, I did watch it though.
Okay. It's just, I think it's funny.
I can't say Thriller. All I want to do is sing the Thriller song, but now I can't.
Oh.
Dead. I'm dead.
Apparently, we don't know, but we think Mitch might be.
Well, the deadline for a special election is, I think, right after this episode airs. Mm-hmm. So they might announce he died after this episode, like when this is airing. I mean, Mitch McConnell. We already know Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, Lindsey's gone. Yeah. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, are they not supposed to tell people when the senator is MIA? Like, there's nobody to take the place. Like, even if we don't love the person, but isn't there like a stand-in?
Isn't there like a chief of staff or somebody who's like the interim? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But I know it's going to be the like 11:59, the day after the deadline for the special election. And they'll be like, you know what? It's crazy.
But shouldn't it be illegal?
Yeah, totally.
But why isn't it?
Because
no one's driving the bus.
Nobody's doing that.
No one's driving the bus.
And there's no accountability. And then his constituents aren't rising up with fists. They're all the people who elected him.
I know. Where are the pitchforks?
Not all. I'm sorry, because there are liberal people.
There are liberal and conservative people everyar. We know that.
And they will listen to this and
be upset. Yeah. We're not talking about you.
We're not talking about you. Yeah.
Okay.
But Mamdani just announced 30% cheaper grocery stores, and every conservative on earth is freaking out about it.
Because they don't like affordable groceries.
It's become this like Maha lightning rod that it's actually wild. Like, if the government is subsidizing grocery stores, then therefore the government's deciding what food those people eat. Mm-hmm. And that decision shouldn't come from a government. Okay. And because those decisions are informed by like food lobbies or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's like, right, but these are in like food deserts. Like,
right. There are places where if all there is around you is a bodega or like, I don't know, like a 7-Eleven type of a place, odds are you're not getting a banana.
Exactly.
Right? You're probably going to get some artificially flavored thing, Yep. I know we talked about this before, but like it is so expensive to eat well.
Yes. And that's the tea, is that like, I know he's a controversial figure, especially on TikTok. Jack Schlossberg had a really interesting talking point about this, where people are always asking him like, oh, what do you think of RFK and Maha and this whole notion of, food needs to be organic. And like, what do you think? What is your response to like RFK's whole platform? Love him, hate him. Jack Schlossberg was basically like, yeah, all RFK basically does is repeat back what we already know, right? That like eating healthier foods is
good
for you.
Right.
And that you should be eating healthier foods because it affects your overall health. That's all. That's like his entire message. He doesn't have a message on like how to do that, how to like lower the cost of groceries, how to bring healthy foods to underserved communities. There's like actually no follow through on that message. Right. So, yes, and it's right now, it's just like, yeah, sure. You're just kind of like parroting back what we already know.
Yeah. And
the Trump administration has approved forever chemicals going onto every like ounce of produce in America 4 times over because it's what that lobby pays the Trump administration. So lovely message. Very shitty follow through, right?
I mean, it's not surprising. Not surprising at all. Disappointing, but not surprising.
the whole like government telling you what to eat too and controlling what you eat, wasn't that just what the GOP was doing with food stamps? With like, why can you buy a Diet Coke with your food stamps?
Right, exactly. It's like the same exact message for Mamdani and what the government is.
Yeah. So there was this whole thing of like the Diet Coke, but also almost like somebody on food stamps should not be able to buy crab legs. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what they were saying. They didn't feel like, oh, you don't think that poor people should have things that they like.
Right. Yes.
Right.
You don't think they should have any joy in their life.
Right.
Yeah.
They should be ashamed of being poor.
Yes.
It is their fault that they are poor.
And because we aren't poor, we get to decide what happens with them.
Right.
And what their choices are. We get to winnow away what their choices are and decide for them. That's messed up.
It is. I mean, the whole thing is messed up.
Right. It's like why you and I get to decide what we can and cannot eat because we're not on food stamps. Right. Yeah.
Right.
But they shouldn't be afforded that luxury. It's like the message that they're basically sending.
Yeah,
with that
you
decision.
should be, you're only allowed to eat, canned green beans.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Destined for a life of like bland food or like things that are not good for you.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like everything with these people. It's they want to take your choice away.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is like your body, your choice is not just about your sort of sexual health, right? It is about everything. It is about the things that you consume.
Legislating your entire life.
From a group of people who feel like the government shouldn't tell me what to do, don't tread on me, right? But here you are.
And then Mamdani is like literally 3 grocery stores in a city with 12 million people. They're like, we can't believe he would ever do that. I love Mamdani because he literally every single day, he's like, I'm going to show you that politicians can actually do things for you and actually change your life.
For the better.
For the better.
Right.
And like that politicians can actually work for you. And then they all get mad because he's doing it.
Yeah.
Writing headlines like it's the Daily Bugle writing about Spider-Man. Every single headline about Mamdani is like he's giving away.
Not the Daily Bugle.
he's doing like a puppies in Times Square. He's doing puppy adoptions. How? Oh my God!
No. He went to the World Cup. Why is he having fun?
It's like this is crazy. We have a guest today. I'm excited.
We sure do.
Yeah.
Your counterparts, would you say?
I would say that we're both lawyers. I wouldn't say we're counterparts.
No. Your online lawyers.
Yeah. My internet bestie.
You toss that word bestie around a little too much for my taste.
Okay, but like, off the record, you are my bestie.
Why I gotta be off the record?
I know, because like,
Because why?
Because there are like,
Because there are other ones who think.
CJ's going to see this.
Oh, that's true.
And Alyssa watches. She's got me sniped.
She does have you sniped.
Alyssa got me sniped.
I know we had to talk to our guest, but I was thinking about this earlier. Andre texted me just now. He was like, where are you? Right? And I had told him where I was gumming. But he could look to see where I am if he wanted to, right?
Sure.
Do you and Brad share your locations with each other?
I share locations with everybody.
Do you really?
Yeah, I want people to know where I am in my life. Yeah, I'm going to some weird fucking places. Like I'm in detention centers. Like I'm going off. Yeah.
Yeah, no, me and I only share my location with Andre.
Yeah.
So I was like,
yeah, you don't share it with me.
No, I don't. But you share. But I know where you are all the time.
I know where you are. You're at home.
Yeah, that's true. I like it inside.
Yeah.
I like it inside. But yeah, I was just like, you could check where I'm at. And he was just like, oh yeah.
No. It's like,
he forgets.
I don't want to. Yeah.
He'd rather just ask me.
Okay. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Brief Recess. This is Under Oath, where we take a deep dive into a topic with an expert. And I'm really excited because today we have Kaetan Mazza, who's a criminal defense attorney and founding partner of Gotham Criminal Defense here in New York City. He's social media's other favorite lawyer. And posts about advice, criminal defense law, misconceptions. You can follow Mr. Keep You Out of Jail and hire him if you need an attorney. Please join me in welcoming Kaetan.
Hey, Kaetan.
Hello. Thank you so much.
We're glad to have you on. I want to say that you assume a lot that you are anyone's favorite attorney.
Well, he's actually the most popular attorney in my family. My sister, my wife, my cousins, they were like, you gotta be like this guy.
I love it.
Be like
you gotta meet him. I said, I'm going on his podcast.
I love it. You'll be my family's favorite podcast guest on this show because they'll be, they're always, they're always coming for me. But thank you for joining us. I thought it'd be really cool if we got into a conversation about criminal defense law. It was my favorite subject in law school. I worked a lot of criminal defense cases early on in my career. So I thought it would be fun to have you on talk about that. I know it's something that's really important to a lot of people in the criminal justice system, oftentimes, and documented very much through data is there to sort of criminalize behavior of Black and brown people over white people. So it felt like a really apt conversation to have with you about, your work in this space. So welcome.
I appreciate that. I mean, people think about the criminal justice system as something that brings about public safety or something that corrects people's behavior. But in the majority of the instances, we're mostly criminalizing poverty, we're criminalizing race, we're criminalizing, and we're not helping people who maybe need correction in their life, So it's, people say, why can't you just admit to what you did and, face the music? It's like, if I was trying to correct a child's behavior, I wouldn't say punch yourself in the face, right? I would want them to, I would want to lead them on a better path. And I just don't think that's what we currently have.
Right. You would hope that if it was a kid, for example, that you'd be able to give them another option.
Absolutely.
Right? So somebody who maybe is, let's just take a random thing, somebody who has grown up in poverty and decides to sell drugs because there's no other they feel as though they have no other option, right? What do we do? Do we put that person in jail forever? I mean, I think about a lot about the people who are still in jail over marijuana sales, right? And now what they must feel like to realize that everyone is literally blazing up on the street. Meanwhile, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Meanwhile, they've been in jail for years.
I mean, you don't want to get me started on the war on drugs policy because I am vehemently against any criminal prosecutions when it comes to narcotics because it simply does not do what you think it does. Right. They think, you're reducing addiction or you're making the communities more safe. You're doing none of that. Right. Drugs are more available. Drugs are more dangerous. Addiction is more prevalent. Right. I mean, we have about 100,000 people a year overdosing, right? They're not doing anything good. When this started in like 1970, the pass of the Controlled Substances Act, there were less than 20,000 people a year overdosing on drugs. I mean, that's just a fact. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse each year. And frankly, nobody, some exceptions, but nobody wants to sell drugs, especially hard drugs, right? It's not I deal with a lot of people who are in that business. Nobody is doing it because it's fun. Right. It's how you put food on the table today, right? You can get a job, but that takes time. People need food on the table today. We're in this country, the worst thing you could be is broke. Right. It's almost better to be a bad person than it is to be broke because that's what you get punished for.
Yeah. People don't seem to have any empathy for people who are poor. There's a lot, especially in this country, I feel like there's a lot of, well, why don't you just pull yourself up by the bootstraps kind of talk? Do you know what I mean? Things that we've heard over and over and over again. Why are you sitting home waiting for a handout type stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people selling drugs are definitely not waiting for a handout.
Right. It's almost like they've taken it into their own hands, right?
They're taking initiative. I mean, it's not, and the thing is, it's not like they're going to people saying, hey, would you like this drug? Right. People are quite literally, I mean, so you go to certain neighborhoods that have, let's say open air drug markets. People are coming from outside the neighborhood in
to seek that
and
out.
Stopping young people who look like they might be involved and asking them. At a certain point, the 10th person that asks you for drugs, you might, if you don't have food on the table, you might say, why am I just leaving?
Maybe I should start selling drugs.
I mean, it's just, it might not even be like I'm going to be a drug dealer. It's like, I need $50 to get me through the week.
It reminds me of like a lot of people. Right. And I imagine how some listeners might hear that and think like, oh, well, why don't they seek out that job that is better or legal or not drug related. And it reminds me a lot of how a lot of migrants that I work with come from a gang background in their country of origin, right? It's oftentimes the only way to access food and water. And I think when people hear, oh, Michael has defended people affiliated with a gang, they have never understood what it's like to live somewhere where you literally might, your family member might live or die because they don't have access to food or medication. They're coming from this like extreme place of privilege. People don't understand that just eating lunch today is a privilege, right? That so many people don't actually do that. And it's very hard for people to get into that headspace, especially judges, right? Especially people who are in the legal practice. And so sometimes judges will ask me about my client, well, what do they want to do if I grant them asylum, right? Who do they want to be in the US? Like, what do they want to do when they're here? Mm-hmm. And it's like, Your Honor, my client's 17, has never had an opportunity to dream about a life. They don't have an iPhone. They do not watch people's professions on the internet and see what they are. They haven't had running water. They haven't had lunch. They haven't had access to food and water, medication, basic infrastructure needs, right? And so people just sort of, I think there is this misconception in these conversations where people are like, well, why don't they just not do that? And people are saying that from this position of judgment, from this position of privilege, where they're not really understanding their own privilege when they are making those assumptions about people, right? This notion that, oh, well, why don't I just sell drugs, or why don't I just? And they don't understand that, no, that's literally the only option. It's like that or the street.
Well, I'd like to touch on two things you said, because one thing that people don't really acknowledge is that a lot of people who sell drugs have full-time jobs. The full-time jobs just don't make ends meet. Wow. Right? Mm-hmm. So, if you're working for minimum or near minimum wage and you live in a city like New York City,
right?
It's not paying the rent and putting food on the table, right? You need all of the above. You need assistance, you need a job, and you need a side hustle, whatever that is, right? And another thing is that, the criminal justice system is where the mainstream society eats up the other half of society, right? Because if you're an attorney, more than likely, some of us have, are real people. It's rare, but some of us are actual human beings. But the majority of them are, these, I don't want to disparage people, but they're not human in the way that I understand people to be, right? They don't grasp what the people that are coming into their courtroom are dealing with.
Right.
And they're not interested in it.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like, I think you've struck on something about like why you've hit such a nerve on the internet, right? I think so many people gravitate towards your videos, if you haven't seen them, watch them, because they really are like, I think there's a lot of gatekeeping in the legal industry, right?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of like barriers to information because that's how lawyers get paid.
Absolutely.
And I think you do a great thing where you really break that down and say like, look, this is what you do if the cops stop you, right? And this is what you say, and this is what you do if you handle this situation. This is why talking to the police is a problem. Like, this is what they're trying to do. So on that subject, is there any... are there cases you want to talk about, or things that have come up recently in the courts, trends you've seen? Our listeners are very keyed into sort of like hot topic lawsuits right now. So
I'm in the criminal defense world. One thing that I keep seeing is that, look, people don't understand self-defense, right? They don't understand how the law treats it, right? I just advised somebody on a case yesterday where he was quite literally on a Long Island Railroad platform, and it's on video. He was approached on both sides by people with ski masks who had weapons. He forcefully asked them to leave him alone. They continued, And he pulled out a weapon and shot one of them. The person didn't die, but that person is somebody who has an active armed robbery case in Queens and has multiple pictures online displaying firearms. Now, I'm somebody who's not a big fan of firearms. I'm not a big fan of violence. I'm not a fan at all of violence, but you would think in a situation like that where the self-defense claim is so overwhelmingly strong, right? Yeah. Like he's confronted with weapons, with people who are obviously there to do him harm. He was charged with attempted murder. He spent 8 months in jail before he got a chance to get bailed out. And, now the offer on, they think they're acting like they're doing him a favor by offering him 5 years in jail. And, yes, the weapon was unlicensed, but in this country, that line is so strange, right? Because there's people who have full armories in their house. Yeah. And, people who are caring for a legitimate self-defense, it's just something that I wish people understood a little bit better, because they think they're going to walk out of a police station because they defended themselves, when no, I mean, even in the best of circumstances, you're going to be sitting down for a while.
How long have you been doing what you do? How long have you been an attorney or a defense?
I got licensed in 2001, January 2001. For a little while, I did tenant defense, tenant rights. So, I like that. It gave me a good opportunity to sort of be in court a lot really early, deal with judges. And frankly, I guess I'm calling out people, but landlord attorneys are the worst attorneys. So it's like you get a chance for some easy wins. The reason is because New York City just started giving people free attorneys in eviction cases. Before that, you had unrepresented tenants coming in and landlord attorneys saying, all right, if you get out in 7 days, we won't charge you any money. And they're like, oh, can I have 30? And they're like, done. And then I come in and it's like, hell no. Yeah, we're not going, you're not going anywhere. And we're withholding rent. It's like, so all of a sudden they're pulling their hair out. I've never been cursed out by an opposing counsel except by landlord attorneys. They are the only ones that have ever been unprofessional with me.
I will say, tenant disputes are the number one things in my DMs.
Yeah.
No matter from day one.
Everybody deals with, especially
everyone does, especially, it is the issue that everyone deals with in New York.
Sure. Especially because in a city like New York, where rent is so high, right? So you'll get roommates and then eventually somebody's going to have a terrible roommate, right? And something's going to happen, or you're living in sort of the most disgusting apartment and you're complaining about like a rat infestation and now you're the problem, right? What's the goal, right? Just to get people, just to have a turnover.
Trying to get people out,
so that you can charge more money when somebody new comes in?
There's a lot of different reasons. By the way, I just want to say, as an attorney, I deal with nuance. There are a lot of bad landlords out there, but I have a very good landlord. I live in a rent-stabilized unit in Harlem. And Jay, you're the man. I love you, Jay. He's worked with me through some tough times. So I love you, Jay.
What made you decide, I've never asked Michael this question either. What made you decide to start sort of posting yourself online, talking about the work that you do?
There's two reasons. First of all, I was starting to practice and nobody knew who the hell I was. Sure. So I had to try to get the word out. But what I realized, so when I was in law school, the first internship I took, it was with an organization called Legal Outreach. We taught a law class to 8th grade New York City public school students. And it's not because I'm the greatest guy, because they paid. But it was also honestly the best thing, not just because it was an awesome job. I loved working with these kids, but it taught me that there is nothing in the law that's too complicated that I can't explain it to an 8th grader.
Yeah.
Okay. So, especially in my early days practicing, I found that I was popular with my clients, not because of anything except that I was able to explain to them what they were going through.
Right.
Attorneys are by and large, very bad at explaining the law.
It's a communication problem.
Yes.
Communication issues.
And the thing is to give them some credit, when you know something, it's hard to relate to somebody who doesn't know it.
And also,
right?
yes, yeah, exactly. And a lot of the times attorneys are like expertise. It's their expertise. They've done this forever. They know every little like corner of it. So they feel like getting questioned on it is an affront, right? Or that if they have to like dumb it down, yeah. But really good lawyers are able to, I think, are just good communicators because they have to explain it to a jury or they have to explain it to a judge who knows nothing about the case.
Lawyers really should not discount what their clients are talking about, right? Because even if they don't have it exactly right, I've had clients who have been like, hey, I looked this thing up and what about this? And I'm like, well, not exactly that, but that's a good idea. Let me dig into this a little bit more, because you're dealing with people, it's their life, like they're interested, they're invested,
Right. If anyone's going to be doing the research.
Yeah. And you to sort of like brush that off is not just like, too proud and arrogant. It's also just bad lawyering. Right. You should benefit. I always tell young lawyers, it's like, make best friends with the court clerks, make best friends with paralegals who have been in the game for a long time because they understand the law in a different way. And they like understand these little nitty gritty parts of the law.
They'll
that
also save your ass like 9 times out of 10.
Unbelievable.
You will get saved because you know the clerk and you can just call them.
I can't tell you how many times.
Just generally, I think that I think people discount support staff. For everybody from like, the paralegal, the court clerk, the receptionist, the secretary, and let me tell you, who knows everything? The janitor. I am not kidding. They really, really do.
Yeah.
And it's sort of
janitors talk to each other.
They do.
And doormen.
And doormen.
They all talk to each other.
It's because they know these things because people discount them, right?
And they'll say
they
it
are
in front
invisible
of them.
and they will say it in front of them. And they may not be able to sort of like get you out of jail, but they will tell you, you know what? That judge drinks. Am I wrong?
That's huge.
But I really think that's true, right? Like people like that, because I was a paralegal and I knew all kinds of stuff about the attorneys because of the attorneys that I was working with, right? I knew when they were having a bad day and how I could take that bad day and use it to my advantage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
So you were new, you had a new practice and you wanted people to know who you were.
Yeah. And I wanted to try to explain, the law is so like inaccessible to people because like you read a legal document and the way that it's written is written in a way that nobody would ever communicate. Right. Yeah. It's not like, like you could have a master's in English literature and it's just the way that they're speaking is just ridiculous. Right. So if you can just put things in plain language, right? It's sort of created this space for charlatans to come in, like these sovereign citizen types. And a lot of lawyers like to bash these sovereign citizen types. And I understand it's very silly and you're going to get yourself in trouble, but they're dealing with this incomprehensible power that controls their life, and they're trying to make sense of it. They're trying to reclaim some of that power. And I get it. They're listening to people online who are telling you, if you don't give the court jurisdiction, they can't do anything to you. And it's like, well, let me explain to you what jurisdiction actually is.
Right. Yes.
And lawyers will tell you, jurisdiction's so complicated. You can never. No, it's just the court's power over you, right? It's like if you're in a certain.
Whether you can even go to that court.
Yeah.
For your case. That's
exactly.
It's very simple.
Why did you start posting online other than you just like people to listen to you?
I wish I had like a reason, but I was my client. I had to go pick them up from a police station and it was during Pride Month and I was wearing like a crop top and coochie cutters and like mesh and I had to go to the precinct and I was like, this is the stupidest fucking thing that's ever happened to me. And so I made a video about it and it got 2 million views.
Nice.
And then I was a TikTok lawyer all of a sudden. And then I just was like, you think that's funny? Wait till you hear what happened last week. And I just started doing that. And then next thing I knew, I had, a following. And I just kind of kept doing it because I think what I hope and maybe what I think happened is that, like you're saying, the legal profession is opaque and it is gatekept, and non-lawyers and lawyers, there's this divide. And I think what I was doing, or unbeknownst to myself, was that I was showing that, we are real people and very stupid things happen to us. Yeah. And like a gay millennial lawyer during Pride Month, like this happened to him. And that is objectively funny.
Yeah,
that shit went down. And like I'm sure that's happened to not that specific situation, but every lawyer's had the stupidest, most hilarious, ridiculous thing happen to them, and they don't talk about it because we're supposed to be ultra conservative, uptight, and not be human.
Like buttoned up.
And so the fact that I was immediately to the internet, an internet full of, let's face it, Gen Z and millennials, was like, I am none of those things, and yet I'm an attorney, was, I think, new for the internet to see.
I can't tell you how many attorneys come up to me and they go, "Oh man, I love your stuff. I wish I could say what you say online."
All the time. I get that all the time.
No one's stopping you.
No one's stopping you. And
but
also,
maybe your boss. Man, I don't know.
Right.
Or people are like, I want to start making a following on the internet. And I'm like, I literally started in 2024. Like it's been 2 years. I was late to the TikTok game. So like, yeah, sorry, go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I just was wondering because I feel like I've known Michael forever and I've never asked him why.
So it just kind of happened organically. And then I was like, this is fun. And then I made a bunch of friends on the internet. Yeah. And then, once you have a couple vocal stems go viral, next thing you know, people are like shouting diva at you on the street.
Right.
And, I love it. It's a blast.
Let me ask you, I'm really interested in the work that you were doing with the 8th graders. So what kind of questions would they ask you?
So kids see authority and they think, oh, I have to do what the authority says or I get in trouble. In fact, that's what most people think, right?
Yeah.
So, they were really interested in how they could assert their rights. They're really interested, they were worried if, do you get in trouble if you say, I'm not going to answer questions? Do you get in trouble if you say, like, I want my parent or my lawyer? And people think that. Still, adults think that, right? I feel like I've made the same video a million times about just don't answer police questions. Just don't.
I always say, just imagine next to the police officer is a stenographer, court reporter, just typing everything you're saying, right? Exactly. Everything's an admission in court when you're talking to a police officer.
And people don't, because they think like this woman posted on my, replied to me today and said, what's wrong with just saying that I'm innocent? Well, the words I'm innocent, first of all, if you just say them is kind of a little bit strange, but it's not that you're saying I'm innocent. It's how you're explaining that you're innocent. And you don't realize which facts that they're going to use to imply the existence of a crime. They don't have to prove
to a grand jury.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you can indict a ham sandwich. That's the old
that's the old adage. This is Tales from the DMs, where we answer all the wicked and wild, sick and twisted things you send us on the internet.
Oh, man.
So while Michael and Kaetan are attorneys, they're not your attorneys, so get your own.
Or you could hire me. Just hit me.
Exactly. You can Venmo him. So, Tales from the DMs. People are always sending, these are all the questions people send us. So I thought it'd be fun to keep you around for this segment, because I want to ask you, every person in the world messages us how to get out of jury duty. And it is for every single jurisdiction. Like, they're asking us about federal cases. They're asking us about my small town in Ohio. What have you seen people do? Because you do more jury selection than I do. There's no jury in immigration court. So I can really only call upon past experiences in the little, one-off criminal case that I take here and there.
Well, listen, I'll tell you this. If you say or imply that you can't trust a police officer, they're probably going to remove you from a jury because they want you to trust a police officer.
In a criminal case.
In a criminal case.
So if this is the landlord dispute, there's no cop there.
Yeah. Okay, so
it's really not no cop in that case.
But please, if you're somebody who doesn't trust police, please stay on the juries. I need you. Don't get off.
Mm-hmm.
I need jurors who do not trust the police.
If you want to be on a jury,
you have every reason not to. And listen, it's funny because I'm very critical of the police. My grandfather, who is one of my favorite people in the world, was a New York City police officer. And both my uncles, who are two of my best friends. So as lawyers, we deal with nuance, right?
Mm-hmm.
We deal with nuance. We have our differences of opinion. I love them to death. But frankly, it's not about the individual police officers. It's about the system that they represent.
Right.
And everything that they're trained to do is tell a narrative that may not be attached to the truth. Mm-hmm. And it very often is not attached to the truth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have some messages from the city of Boston. I wonder why.
Let me just explain what happened. Michael decided to go on a tear.
I think I saw this.
I'm so sick of the city of Boston. I'm so over it. I'm not the Scottish people for the World Cup.
He's making it worse.
I don't get it.
And the thing about it is, when I said to him, why don't you like the city of Boston? And he said, I have a toxic ex. Do you not like the city of Boston either?
I mean,
we're New Yorkers. Why are you defending the city of Boston?
Well, because I don't know.
Boston stinks.
Oh my God! Wow. Again, Boston, Beantown. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying. But anyway,
you're 4 hours from New York.
So Michael decided that he was going to go on a tear, and people came for him.
Michael, I live in Boston. This is Lynchip 13. We're not all that bad, though. I'll admit I'm a terrible driver. See, I called it. Massachusetts drivers are I think that's how I'm gonna be unalived. That being said, I was on a flight from London to Boston and I was listening to that episode and I just kept laughing out loud that the stewardess shushed me.
I love that. I love that.
I like that she admitted that she's a bad driver. It's somehow everyone's a good driver, but then you get on the road and they're not.
Who's this veering into me in a Volvo? Yeah,
I don't drive, so you can't blame
at all.
me. I mean, I don't have a car. I don't drive, no.
Okay. How do you get around?
Subway, Uber.
Love it.
What happens when you leave New York?
Melissa is locked in.
My wife usually drives.
Okay.
She's a very good driver.
Okay.
And she's also the most beautiful first grade teacher in all of the world.
Oh, I love that.
And just came back from your honeymoon, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're newly married.
Yes, we are. We got a baby due in September.
Oh, do you know what you're having?
Baby girl.
A baby girl?
CJ's having a baby in September.
Congratulations, man. Yeah. Oh, wow.
He's having a boy.
Oh, man.
And I say this, I love kids so much.
She really does.
I'm obsessed with babies. So please send me a picture of your kid.
I'll send you the pics as soon as we
Even when they're brand new and they look a little bit like gremlins, I still like it.
I can't wait. Honestly,
I'm so excited for you.
Thank God I can afford diapers at this point.
Oh, I know.
Not the good ones, but at least,
the Costco ones.
Target. Yep. I have a follow-up question, if you don't mind, about jury selection.
Sure.
So if somebody says they don't like cops, they don't even make it to the point where you would be deciding between a person or not.
So this is how jury selection works. Each side has a number of peremptory strikes, right? You don't choose jurors, you exclude jurors. Mm-hmm. So you'll ask questions. It's called the voir dire. And, each side is trying to sort of get to know these people and sort of get to know who they are without tipping off too much. And, if you demonstrate that you're someone who questions authority, who doesn't believe, if you're somebody who doesn't just take a police officer's words as gospel truth, they're going to try to get you off the jury because they don't, if you're a prosecutor, you don't want that.
So in voir dire, if there's 20 or 30 people and the jury is only 12, he's given like 3 peremptory strikes before to pick and choose.
Yeah, it's more than that. They're basically trying to get off people that they think will vote not guilty. And I'm trying to get off to people who I'm sure will vote guilty.
Okay.
Okay, the people, Rhonda and Laura, who were asking about the video of me playing soccer with a bunch of middle schoolers, it is on the internet. It's on Setwell Free, and there's an extended version on YouTube.
You know what? I'll repost it.
Which is,
He reached out to me too. I forgot about that guy.
oh yeah.
He asked me to play soccer with
Are you
kids.
kidding?
Yeah. He said
I said yes.
I was like, yeah, I'm into it, but
Not the gig going to me.
no, it's I didn't. I forgot about it. I honestly
my
did.
God.
Sorry,
he
Will.
basically-
You didn't reply?
I replied, but then things came up and I just forgot.
So he was just casting a wide net.
So I was like exhausted. I hadn't slept in like 2 days, and I replied from a plane. I was like, sure.
Yeah.
I didn't remember. We agreed on a date, and then it was like, it's the shoot day, and I showed up dressed like you,
Yeah.
diving for soccer balls, and I didn't read the part where they said they wanted you to play soccer, so I missed the whole thing.
Were you trying to block goals?
Yes,
That's-
defend the goal,
Yeah.
and I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, no one told me. That is so funny.
Spill the secrets.
Wow.
Will.
No, this is how.
Sorry
guys,
about that. I
this is
forgot.
this is the biz. This is a dirty business.
I just got married. I got the kid on the way, man. Sorry.
You're busy.
Things are slipping through my
You're
fingers.
busy.
I need a secretary. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Or an admin.
So I don't know if you saw this, but we got somebody who was talking about they worked in a nail salon and a woman with one hand came in and wanted a 50% discount,
Wow.
right? So this guy is talking about all kinds of things. And for whatever reason, this brought up for Michael the time that he accidentally bought one shoe.
Yes, on eBay.
On
I bought
eBay.
a shoe. I thought it was like the sample of the pair.
But let the record reflect that
It arrived, and I was like, "Where's the other shoe?"
But then he sent me the ad, and I was like, "You didn't read it because it says one
it
shoe."
said one shoe in the. Anyway,
Fine print.
Right.
Very
one
important.
shoe to rule them all, and in the darkness find them.
So-
because this person wrote in.
Right. So then so I asked Michael, what did you end up doing with the shoe? And he said he donated it. So this woman, somebody wrote in and said, you donated one shoe.
I don't know. I didn't
Sir.
know what to do. I just kind of wasn't really thinking, guys. I'm sorry.
There's somebody with one foot who's maybe enjoying
Who's very grateful or mismatched. Yeah.
That was actually the question that I was going to ask, but didn't want to ask because I felt bad. But you went ahead and did it. So I was just wondering, maybe you could have donated to somebody who needs that one shoe, but you didn't think about that because you're selfish.
I didn't think at all.
No,
That's
I
the
know.
problem. I think that was where we landed.
Sometimes when you donate to Goodwill, it's just, here, you throw this out.
Yeah. No, I know. I do that too. And I feel bad about it sometimes, but it's like, I feel like overwhelmed.
Well, we don't know we don't know their need.
I mean,
because they might be like, oh, thank God we got more.
It's like I had the other one.
More political T-shirts. Like we were, like, you know what I mean? We don't know like what they're not giving us a list of like things they need.
It's
I
like
know.
when you, the shirts that have the team that didn't win the Super Bowl on them, and they send them out across the world, and you got people in like Ukraine wearing,
Exactly.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah,
Spurs
that's true.
World Championships,
and
Right.
it's like okay. Well, thank you for joining us on Brief Recess. Thank
been
you
a
for
pleasure.
being here.
It was
Kaetan.
good to have you.
Thank you
so much.
I had a great time.
Where can everyone find you on social media?
So I'm on TikTok and Instagram. I'm at Mr. Keep You Outta Jail. So it's KeepYouOutta Jail.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Straight to the point. I love it.
He was telling me kids in his neighborhood salute him and say,
Yeah.
Mr. Keep You Out of Jail.
I'm like sort of a micro celebrity in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Everybody
love
kind of
that.
knows me.
Especially the kids. I love when like kids are paying attention.
I hear Mr. Keep You Out of Jail.
I'm mostly popular at like a farmer's market. That's where like people, that is like the listeners of this show are at the farmer's market. This is Brief Recess. We'll see you next week.